Partnerships, community, podcast, friends presented by Constant Contact Happy. Wednesday, Future Party. If you're a Microsoft user, beware of the recently announced Scout AI personal assistant. In an internal Microsoft document, the company reportedly said it wants to make people addicted to its latest AI project. While it's no surprise that a major corporation wants its customers hooked on its products, the explicit use of addiction language in the very first phase of its strategy is certainly alarming. Daily top trends: YouTube, The Wave, X, Twitter, David Lynch, Google, Spencer Pratt Reddit, Tom Holland, Letterboxd, The Devil Wears Prada, Spotify. Brutalist publications are prepping against Google. Zero major publishers like Time and Condé Nast have long relied on SEO and Google to drive traffic, but with the impending threat of Google Zero, their businesses could be at risk. Why? This clicks. Google Zero is about to change the way we search and interact on the internet, prompting publishers to frantically strategize new ways to continue driving traffic to their sites. Between the links, with Google Zero, the idea is that people will stay on the search page, getting AI generated answers to their questions instead of clicking through to the sites that did the work. Organic search traffic to more than 2,500 sites worldwide fell by a third over the last year, according to a Reuters Institute report. Time saw this coming and moved away from the old playbook. Google once drove 60% of its traffic. That figure is now down to 51%. Meanwhile, direct traffic climbed from 22% to 30% since 2023, and ad revenue grew 22% last year. The publisher dropped its paywall, leaned into events and franchises, and began syndicating content to platforms like Apple News and Yahoo. One large lifestyle publisher saw Google traffic fall by 60% over 2 years and still managed to grow by building its brand and increasing revenue unrelated to site impressions, per an exec at the company. Planning ahead. That same exec said, "If you plan as if Google is going to zero and it doesn't, anything above zero is upside. If you plan for Google to be stable and it declines, then everything is catastrophic." For now, publishers are experimenting with new ways to engage their audiences and keep ad revenue coming in. The future. Publications and businesses can no longer rely on SEO and Google to drive traffic or sales. If publishers can't find new ways to engage their audiences, we could be headed toward a future in which many no longer exist, and the wealth of online information we have access to disappears in favor of AI. Together with Constant Contact, automate your emails, accelerate your results. Marketing that runs itself? Yeah, that's a thing now. Constant Contact's automation tools work in the background, so you don't have to let emails, texts, and offers go out exactly when you want them to, without needing to hit send every time. Want to make customers feel seen? Use an automation template to send birthday wishes, trying to boost sales? Set up an abandoned cart email, a friendly reminder that often leads to a purchase. Got customers who've gone MIA? Send a promo or special offer to bring them back. You don't need to micromanage any of it. Just choose your triggers, like someone clicking a link or leaving something in their cart, and the system handles the rest. You stay focused on your actual to-do list while your marketing keeps humming in the background. So, TFP readers, ready to spend less time on repetitive tasks? Give Constant Contact's automation tools a try. It's free to get started and could be a game changer for your business. Get started for free. The influencer loneliness epidemic, a subset of influencers on TikTok and Reels, has been growing in popularity. Young women going viral for having no friends. Reeling them in, according to a 2021 study by the American Psychological Association, the rate of loneliness in young adults has increased every year from 1976 to 2019. It makes sense that these so-called loneliness influencers are blowing up online. Their audience mostly consists of other young women who also feel alone. Behind the solitude, the videos usually feature a woman who describes herself as an introvert living alone with no kids or friends. She comes home after work, heats up dinner, and watches TV. There's not much else happening in the videos, and most are captioned something like, "POV, you live alone in NYC and have no friends, so your nights look like this." Creators like Alaniza AA have upwards of 15,000 followers for posting quiet nights alone. Many commenters commiserate with the influencers, while others question whether they're really as introverted as they claim or simply playing a role for clicks. After all, how introverted can you be if you're sharing deeply personal videos with thousands of strangers online? A quiet epidemic. While the male loneliness epidemic has dominated the conversation for years, these creators are a sign that the female version is just as real, only quieter. A woman filming her quiet night in can make a stranger feel less alone, or make friendlessness and solitude seem aspirational. The same clip can do both, depending on who's watching and why. The future of loneliness. Through these viral videos, women experiencing similar isolation may begin to find community in online spaces. Other TikTokers have built communities through their videos and personal stories in the past, and the same could certainly happen again. Together with Stat Significant Noun, the water cooler. With Stat Significant is a free weekly newsletter featuring data driven essays about movies, music, TV, and more. When do we stop discovering new music? Which TV shows got their finales right and which didn't? Which movies popularized or tarnished baby names? Subscribe for free to find out. Deep dives. Watch. Complex revisits the biggest summer blockbusters of the past 2 decades, showing how sequels, superheroes, and nostalgia turned the season into Hollywood's most dependable box office machine. Read. Quick Study's latest consumer research finds that while Americans are still forming opinions about AI, brands that replace humans or don't clearly communicate how they're using the tech risk losing trust before consumers make up their minds. Explore. Yeet believes the future of dating isn't better matching but better messaging, using its AI wingman Yeeta to drop people into live conversations and keep the vibes flowing before anyone has a chance to swipe left. 4% of you voted no in yesterday's poll. Have you ever been a camp counselor? Never even been to camp? Way too much responsibility for my first summer job as an adult. My dad owned a sleepaway camp, so it was my life and love. Loved doing it for 10 summers. Let's keep the conversation going. Join poll of the day so your opinions can shine. Discover how your views line up with your peers. Check out cool insights and have some fun. It's data with personality. Quick hits, entertainment, media. Martin Scorsese is embracing Hollywood's AI era, joining Black Forest Labs as an advisor and using its generative tools to storyboard films faster. The White House Correspondents' Dinner is getting a second act on July 24th, with journalists, politicians, and President Trump set to reconvene after April's event was cut short. A24's Backrooms delivered the studio's biggest ever opening weekend in the UK and Ireland with a $5.7 million debut. Technology as AI infrastructure booms, physical data center security is emerging as one of the industry's fastest growing job categories. Google is rolling out AI powered fake call detection for Android, using device verification to help users spot deepfake impersonation scams before sharing money or sensitive information. OpenAI is turning Codex into a white collar workhorse with new AI tools for everyone from designers to bankers. Culture Bumble is testing a paid group dating feature called Plans, betting that curated IRL meetups can reignite engagement in a swipe fatigued dating market. Gen Z is embracing solo maxing, a trend that reframes staying single as an intentional lifestyle choice rather than a relationship status. Everend is taking on Amazon by bundling ebooks, audiobooks, and online book clubs into a single subscription for modern readers. Partnerships. Community. Podcast. Friends, today's email was written by Dina Elginaidi and Kate Cuniff. Edited by Nick Comney. Polled and copy edited by Kate Cuniff. Published by Darlene Salazar.